So I have received some criticism regarding the which amiibos would be most painful to shove up your ass video. And I'm going to address some of these right now because I think this could be interesting to look into, right? So, from user Anti-Fearn, I'd argue that Pichu and Jigglypuff would absolutely hurt to put up there due to their pointy ears. Pichu's especially because it could scrape the inside of the inner walls. That's a good point. That's a really good point that I didn't think of regarding Pichu. I don't think with Jigglypuff it'd be that bad because her like hands, nubs, they're like pretty small, so they wouldn't like cause lesions and shit. But the Pichu amiibo does have like actually pretty big ears, so that could be a problem. They are pretty spiky, so there's that. Now, from user multi-KL, brother, look at Cloud's hair, dog. Okay, that is true. I think I ranked Cloud pretty low because I didn't take into account the fact that his hair is shaped like that. There is the fact that it's a little bit like the Sam's amiibo, where like, well, I guess it's the opposite of the Sam's amiibo, where it would hurt a lot going in, but then pulling it out would be like not that bad. Granted, I've already said we're not considering the pulling out aspect. We're only considering how much it would hurt going in, right? Now, from this commenter, Spimmy Neon, as someone with a K. Rool amiibo, I would put him a little higher. I think his fingers sticking out, his scape textures and pose sticking out as far as it does is enough for that. I also think his sheer girth might be worth considering, but that's based off user experience. Okay, I'm gonna be completely honest. I skimmed most of these comments before I actually selected them to read. I did not, bro, God. I did not know, bro, God, that personal. All right, you know what? I'll trust the expert. I guess Skirrel is much. Skirrel is much higher up the tier list than I thought he was. My thinking was that because his belly's so round, he's essentially just a little ball, right? So you can put it up there pretty easily. But the amiibo is pretty big, right? So I acknowledge that there's some stuff, right? There's some problems with it. On to the next one. No way Meta Knight isn't in the Western London blood tier list. Tier, excuse me. His wings are wide and spiked as hell. That is true. Meta Knight's a very like kiki, like very triangly designed. There's a bunch of spiky bits. I don't remember exactly where I put him, but he definitely belongs in the top tier in terms of how painful it would be. By the way, there's a very funny reply to this comment. This nigga said life leak infamy tier. That's an expert right there. I did not expect to have that many bottoms in my fucking comment section. I'm pleasantly surprised. I think you're thinking too much about the Fire Emblem cast swords and glossing over the fact that every one of them has a massive cape you'd have to squeeze in. That is true. That is an aspect that I forgot to mention in the original video of which amiibo would be most painful to shove up your ass. My thinking at the time, I think it was that the capes are so thin that the plastic of it would just bend, right, and wrap around the amiibo and like therefore lessen the pain. I don't actually know if that's how it would work because I don't actually own that many amiibos, so I don't know how they feel. And I've never tried this because, once again, I'm a top. I don't know. I'm LARPing right now by making this content, all right? I'm talking about a topic that I'm very uninformed on, all right? Uh, so this is something that completely went by me, and a lot of people have like pointed out, the capes could be a problem. I focus too much on the swords. That is true. I'll acknowledge that. I'll rethink my stance from now on, right? And on to the last comment that I wanted to highlight. Mario slides in like butter from me, from JustANoob80. And then Lumi replies, speaking from experience. And OP replies, you don't want to know. No, I think we do. I think, no, by all means, elaborate. What did you mean by for me? Also, I guess I'll trust the expert on that one. I guess Mario is much lower on the list than I thought. My thought was because it's the Smash 4 amiibo, the fireball, it's like all spiky and shit because it's meant to look like fire, right? So like hurt to get in. But once again, I know the limitations of my knowledge as a top, right? I'm not going to sit here and try to argue with people who know more about the topic than I do, so I'll just trust the experts. And that nigga gotta be right. So that's about all the comments that I wanted to cover, right? Now, I do have an idea for a video of essentially making a compilation of like the most painful non-Smash Bros. Amiibos. So not limited to just Smash like this, but all amiibos that have ever been made, of making the list of the most painful ones. Thing is, I can't be fucked to go look that up, so I'm gonna have to rely on you people telling me in the comments what you like, submitting what you believe is the most painful amiibo to shove up your ass, and I guess I'll just make like a list video compiling them later of which ones are really the worst. I have had some people submit some examples to me. I'm not gonna spoil them because that's for the fucking documentary I'm gonna put out. I there are some pretty big amiibos out there that terrify me conceptually. But I want to see what you guys have to say about this. And once again, as a top, my understanding of the issue is very limited. You know what I mean? It's not my area of expertise. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm LARPing right now. I'm LARPing. Anyway, that was my most normal video in a while. Fucking whatever, man.